If you are a chav and you're watching, can you slide into our DMs, please? We just have a few questions. I'm just like mad because on camera these sleeves just look like frumpy, but in real life it's very like chic, you know? It's very like I'm walking through the streets of Paris with my dog. But on camera it just looks like I put on one of Garland's shirts.
How about I just conveniently place that clip in the beginning so that everyone knows that your shirt looks good and not frumpy?
Okay.
Hi guys!
Hi!
Welcome back to another episode of Piping Hot Disney Tea. This week we have a little bit of a twist because Katie doesn't know what I'm talking about.
I have no idea what the topic is, so I couldn't even dress in theme. So this is like tragic.
But you kind of nailed it, which is my favorite part. You're doing better than me. Is your sister still up there?
No.
Good, because I was gonna need you to punch her because I'm trying to surprise Katie with this thing, and her sister walks upstairs and guesses it on the first try.
Wait, really?
Yes.
That was
so this
it?
week, I'm doing the ghosts of the Disney parks, and Katie's sister walks upstairs and goes, "You're doing something spooky. Is it the ghosts of the Disney parks?" And proceeds to list like 3 of the ghosts that I'm covering.
Good thing I wasn't paying any attention to her.
This is just like a lot of little stories. I don't really have one that we're going super in depth on. I do have my favorite, but that's kind of fucked because people die. But
My favorite is when so many people died.
I was thinking about how problematic that is, but then I realized every week I listen to a podcast called My Favorite Murder.
That's very true. So you are pretty desensitized at this point.
I'm pretty good at murder. I don't want to toot my own horn, but...
Video killed the radio star. If you're watching this, I'm simply a ghost.
If you're watching this, thank you.
Thanks, I guess.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
These will be Katie's final moments. My sources for this week are the YouTube channel called SuperHorrorBro. The second one is probably more my like aesthetic, bustle.com.
Yeah.
And then DisneyWorldEnthusiast.com. And
Of
then like
course.
Wikipedia to fill in the gaps. I am aware that a lot of these are urban legends and there is no proof. There is also no proof that Disney has Buzzy locked away in the archives and framed Patrick Spikes again to take down Backdoor Disney, but I'll preach that till the cows come home. So...
Who needs proof when it's fun, you know?
We said last week, go somewhere else for facts. Come here for speculation.
Come here for speculation.
Travel with me, if you will.
Traveling.
Safely, socially distanced.
Yes, mask on.
To the Haunted Mansion in Anaheim, California.
Ooh, okay.
So, there's not a lot going on at the Haunted Mansion in Anaheim, California, so we're just kind of stopping in here, and then we're going to head over to the one in Walt Disney World. But, some basic things about both Haunted Mansions, actually, is that people love to spread their loved ones' ashes there. And that's where a lot of these come from.
Okay.
In the Haunted Mansion in Disneyland, which subsequently affected the Haunted Mansion in Disney World, they actually allegedly had someone die in the previews of the Haunted Mansion because it was just so scary.
Wait, they died because the ride was so scary.
Yes.
Haunted Mansion.
Went on the Haunted Mansion, was so spooked by something in there that they died, and so the park had to tone it down.
All right.
So now let's put on our wings and fly to Walt Disney World, where we have our first 2 ghosts.
We're flying to COVID-infested Florida. Disney, love you, but why?
Why are you open?
Why are you open?
Yeah, fuck you, Bob Iger.
Yeah.
I don't know if we should just have a clip of me saying fuck you, Bob Iger.
Probably not.
I can say fuck you, Michael Eisner.
Yeah,
I
because
stand by that.
he's not relevant anymore.
No, and he didn't do anything good.
Some might call extraterrestrial.
Yeah, that's simultaneously the best and worst thing to ever happen to a park.
He didn't do much good, but he did some things right. Only one, and that was Captain EO.
The first ghost we have is the Walt Disney World Haunted Mansion Ghost Boy.
Let's hear it for Ghost Boy. We love to see it. He's so cute.
So cute. So adorable. Definitely looks like he has all of his eyeballs and they are not black holes in his
No, they're
face.
all attached to his face.
It's all there. It's really great.
He's a real boy.
A lot of people, obviously the pretty easy argument to this one is that it's a kid on a doom buggy poking his head out. Have you ever tried to, like, poke your head out of a doom buggy?
They're pretty enclosed.
Yeah, like, that's kind of their whole point.
Like, they're kind of
so
like
you don't
a
feel
shell.
Yeah, so you don't feel like there's people on either side of you. Here's a quote from the girl who took the picture. Now, I found, like, varying sources all over. Some say she was a cast member. Some say she was just an annual pass holder. I don't know. Regardless, here's a quote from the woman who took the picture. As you'll see in the photo, it appears as though the child is peeking his head out of the doom buggy and looking directly at me. Not only was he not there when I took the picture, but there also wasn't a child of his age within 20 people in front of me in line. And as you can see, he's only a few doom buggies in front of me. Not only that, what's he doing looking at me? There's no flash and no visible light coming from me. It's all infrared and invisible to the naked eye.
I have, like, actual chills all over my body. I hate that anytime I hear anything that's inspiring, sad, brilliant, or scary, my entire body just, like, breaks out into hives, and it's happening right now.
And that is why your favorite movie is Assassination Nation.
Yep.
So, a lot of people believe that this is the ghost of a boy whose ashes were spread on the ride. That's kind of the only explanation they can come up with. There's no record of a kid dying on the ride. Nothing like that. They just think someone spread the ashes. Maybe the kid loved the ride, decided to camp out there. Who knows? So we have a second ghost in the Walt Disney World Haunted Mansion. This man is known as the Man with the Cane, and he is an old man who continuously rides the ride but won't talk to any of the cast members and then just disappears. People think that he is a pilot from the 1940s who crashed his plane into Bay Lake.
Is there any record of a plane crashing into Bay Lake in that time period?
Not that I found, but I want to believe it, because if that's true, then that means there is a plane wreck in the bottom of Bay Lake.
Yeah.
And that is cool.
That's a story.
If you have secretly gone scuba diving in Bay Lake and not been eaten by alligators or crocodiles, whatever they have there, and you've seen wreckage of this plane that probably doesn't exist, send me a picture.
Like, hit us up or something, you know?
Hit us up. Before I start this next one, I have a slight critique for people who start urban legends. When you start an urban legend, specify what fucking park it happens in. I have no clue if half of these are in Disneyland or Disney World. How is that believable? I can't have a conversation with a Disney fan without them getting mad at me for calling everything Disneyland. How can you not specify it in your urban legends?
I think he was coming at me on that one.
A little bit.
I'm like, it's not all Disneyland!
And that's just my fault. I was just raised going to Disneyland because my parents lived in California for like 3 years.
Well, and it makes sense since you're in Colorado. It's closer, too.
That is true.
I
also do live in Los Angeles.
And you live in Los Angeles. So, like, I think the general rule of thumb is either whichever one you grew up going to or whichever one is, like, whichever coast you're on is which one you consider, like, the park. So it would make sense that yours would be Disneyland and mine would be Disney World. We just settled that.
Because Disneyland is better.
Did you... Okay, never mind. We didn't settle anything.
We have a better Haunted Mansion. We have a better Pirates. Our Pirates is better by exactly 8 minutes. So you can shut up.
I've never been, so I can't say anything, but...
I've never been to Disney World. So,
okay, there you go!
God, we sound like Republicans.
Yeah, we do! Let's stop being Republicans.
Okay. Dang it. Hey, you can get rid of my Roseanne Barr cosplay.
It took me a second. I thought your mom walked in and you were actually saying that to her, and then I was like, compute.
Could you imagine? Maybe I should get a Roseanne Barr cosplay. That'd be good.
We could. Like, maybe like Halloween this year?
Just like an oversized bottle of Ambien.
Yeah, for sure.
Chuck it along. Next attraction. I don't know what park this is, but it's Space Mountain. We have Mr. One Way. So, a lot of this urban legend, I think, comes from just how Space Mountain is set up. If you've ever seen Space Mountain with the lights on, you are tight. Like, you are just missing metal bars. Like, there's a reason they tell you not to put your hands up on Space Mountain. Because you are inches from getting them knocked off.
Yeah, it's so terrifying. I noticed that when I was younger, even before I saw it with the lights on, I was just, like, so paranoid. Because I would look up and I was like, there's, like, definitely a metal bar above my head. Like, how am I not colliding with it? And then I saw it with the lights on and I was like...
I've actually ridden Space Mountain with the lights on. It's horrifying.
Yeah.
Mr. One Way is believed to have died on the attraction from a close bar. Whether he stood up, did something wrong, leaned too far, who knows. It's said that he died because of just how close together everything is on Space Mountain.
Cute. That makes me definitely want to go on it.
Mr. One Way is said to have reddish hair and a reddish face, which to me means he's an Irish alcoholic, and I love everything about him.
Yeah, we stand.
He'll stand in line. He won't talk to anyone. But how pathetic is that? As a ghost, you're waiting in line. He'll even get in the vehicle, but then he'll disappear before the ride's over.
Ew.
It's assumed he died in the 1970s.
I'm a little shook.
How creepy would that be? Like, you're riding with someone or whatever, you know, you're, like, awkwardly bumping into them, and then, like, suddenly you just stop.
Ew.
Oh my gosh, wait, I'm having a recovered Space Mountain story.
Like a memory from a past life? Or like...
No, like a memory from when I was a kid and I didn't listen to my parents.
Oh, thank God. I got really scared. I was like, did you just, like, astral project or something? Like, I can't deal with this today. No, I can't.
Let's talk about astral projection at Disney parks.
The other day, I, for a solid 20 minutes, got really freaked out because I realized that other people perceive me.
I was on the phone with her. It was a full spiral. It was a full spiral.
Like, I didn't even remember Rob was there. He was perceiving me, and I was too busy worried about the fact that he could perceive me. So.
That she wasn't perceiving that I was perceiving.
And I wasn't perceiving him perceiving me. So. We've stopped going on these existential crisis modes.
Perceiveception. Now we're going to the ride that is objectively better in Disneyland, but this is the Disney World version. And we're talking about George, the ghost of the Pirates of the Caribbean at Disney World. Don't try to come for me saying that, oh, Disney World is better. No, it's fucking not. It's 8 minutes shorter because it was built on a time crunch.
I haven't ridden the one at Disneyland, but I will go ahead and give that one to you that it's better because I don't have any special connection to the one at Disney World. It's pretty boring. It just has the one drop. Like, that's it.
George is like the most notorious Disney ghost, apparently. But there's no consistent story to what's happening to him. In some versions, he's a writer. In some versions, he's a welder. In some versions, he's like a construction, just like, dude. Like, you don't really get a solid story on what happened to George. But it sounds more like he was on the construction crew, quite possibly a welder, when he was killed building the ride on the ride. And he's kind of upset about it, so he likes to mess with the workers and the riders. So if you're on the ride and you say, I don't believe in George, you'll usually get stopped on the ride for a long period of time. Something will happen with the ride. It'll stop working. Yeah, George is like, okay.
George is like, not today.
Cast members also have to get on the PA system every morning. And this is confirmed. I've heard this. I don't know if it's just like tradition, whatever. But cast members get on the PA and say good morning and good night to George whenever they open and close the ride.
I have heard that,
which I think is, I think that's very
cute.
sweet.
That's really cute.
I mean, no one ever says good morning or good night to me.
Right, so
except
like...
for Katie. We end every single one of
we
our calls
begin every day together. We end every day together. We're basically married. We're basically in a long-distance relationship, me and Rob are.
He's believed to live in the Burning City Room, which is where he died. People feel a cold presence in there, but also it's a water dark ride.
You kind of feel a cold presence always.
But his favorite hangouts are rumored... Oh, go ahead.
No, I mean, I was just saying, but. Like, there wasn't any more to that. I was just saying, like, insinuating that George is also an option. Yeah.
George just has a full wagon.
George has the best ass I've ever seen in my life. So, yeah.
So, Katie has seen George.
We were exclusive for, like, a couple months. And, it got pretty serious. But, things didn't like work out. He kept disappearing, so
Did you get ghosted?
I got a little ghosted. So always happens to me. I got a little too real.
So his favorite hangout spots are allegedly near the pirate with the pigs, under the bridge of the pirate with his legs hanging over, and near the door.
The dirty feet guy, because he's my favorite.
Okay, good. He's a queen. That's where George is. Also, he could allegedly be near the dog with the keys, but I want him to be near Dirty Feet Guy. Stan Dirty Feet Guy.
We stand Dirty Feet Guy.
Speaking of Dirty Feet, Katie is selling pictures.
I do, my specialty is making my feet look like Dirty Feet Guy from Pirates of the Caribbean. And I can go from like medium dirt to like heavy dirt or like light dirt if that's your thing. So if you'll just fill out a form and send it to my Instagram DMs, I would be really, really grateful.
She'll see you at the next D23 Expo, Bob Iger.
I'll see you there.
I like how this episode started normal, and we're now at the point that we're guessing that Bob Iger has a foot fetish for the dirty pirate. There are more ghosts on the ride. These two are called the Ladies. I stand the Ladies. I know nothing about them other than allegedly their boat derailed after the drop. They were in the front row and they died. And
tragic.
They don't have anything about these ladies. They just are like, sometimes we feel a chill and we think it's them. And I love them. I imagine that they are the Statler and Waldorf of the ride. And they just sit there and judge every single person who comes through. And I would be honored to be judged by them.
That was powerful.
Another urban legend that I think is true, because I've heard about it on podcasts with cast members, is that people, one, spread their loved ones' ashes on Pirates because it's another dark ride. And two, when Pirates first opened, they used real skeletons. The fake ones that the Imagineers developed did not look real enough, so they contacted UCLA Medical Center and got some real human skeletons and put them in the ride.
Wait, is this confirmed?
There's one skeleton that's like a full human skeleton, and then the skull above the bed is a human skull.
Ew! Okay.
But not anymore. They've replaced it since. But when it opened, they were human.
Oy. So
this ghost is from Katie's favorite ride? The bellhop ghost from the Tower of Terror?
Oh, yeah.
He died on platform Delta. I don't know what the difference is, but he died on platform Delta. Apparently, a cast member died on platform Delta. Allegedly. Allegedly. Because we're all about the facts here.
Yeah.
Buzzy is living in the French countryside with the Hatbox Ghost. Facts.
He definitely is. They're lovers.
Buzzy is the bottom.
Definitely. Duh.
But
Power bottom for life. Takes one to know one.
Allegedly, a cast member just died. We don't know why. We don't know how. In the middle of his shift, he just dropped dead. And now he haunts the ride. Allegedly. He'll stop the ride, but only during the final ride-throughs with cast members. And he'll scare the staff members, turn lights on and off. Things like that. There actually are a few pictures of apparitions that are very convincing. Almost too convincing for me. I think they might be edited just a little bit. Real. Just because of how, detailed it is.
It's a little freaky. I don't really like that.
Creepy. Could also easily be photoshopped because it's very detailed. Before we get into my final two that are not my favorites because people died, we're gonna talk about two that I feel like I need to talk about even though they're really fucking boring. The ghosts of Walt Disney and Roy Disney.
Are they frozen?
Exactly. How can they haunt this place if their heads are frozen? Sorry.
Doesn't work
We're just fact checking. So Walt Disney obviously haunts his apartment. Everyone knows that. There's the whole thing about they would turn off his lamp and they'd go downstairs and then they'd look back up and his lamp would be on. And that's why his lamp is always on now, because Walt is always watching over the park. Roy Disney can be seen on Main Street during Wishes. Although I think Wishes got shut down.
It did. It's something else now.
And Roy Disney hasn't been seen since. That's not true. I just made that up. But those are cool. Awesome. The people who built the parks are there, but they're not doing anything. So let's talk about some ghosts who actually did something. Of course, I like to round it out with two badass women. Now, I do want to preface these. Both of these are deaths that are confirmed. The deaths happened, for sure. The ghosts are speculation. So, did you just flash your cooch at the camera?
No, but you're definitely gonna have to cut me out of that moment because my leg was falling asleep and I had to get it out. But I'm so like, I have all my equipment like so trapped in here. I just had to like, oh my god. I thought I was gonna make it through without that happening. I thought I was gonna make it through.
The last ghost is the ghost of Katie's tit. And it haunts me every day of my life.
I'm so angry at you.
At me?
Ow! Papa, I'm indecent. Okay, I can go on.
Okay, I'm gonna get back into my disclaimer about people dying.
And I'll try not to flash another tip.
So I want to preface these next two by saying these people actually died. Like, there's no, oh, maybe they did die, maybe they didn't. These two women actually died. So that's not up for debate. The fact that they still haunt the attractions, we can debate. In 1984, 45-year-old Regina Dolly Young fell off her bobsled on the Matterhorn and was hit by another oncoming sled. She died from the injuries. Her seatbelt was unbuckled, but they don't know why, because her family says that she would never do that. She would never do anything like that. And right after, Disney switched the seatbelts on the Matterhorn bobsleds, but they claim it was because the original producer went out of business. Regardless, Disney settled with the family. The spot where she died is called Dolly's Dip. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like maybe don't name something after a place where someone died.
It's a little disturbing.
I mean, Dolly already has a whole park in wherever Dollywood is, but... When cast members walk through the Matterhorn, they say they can still feel her watching them.
I don't like that.
No, and one cast member said, I worked on that ride for several years. I never saw her, but I sure did feel her.
Nope.
Nope, I'm good.
Nah, I'm fine.
We're good.
I'm all set, so.
Something makes me feel like Dolly did not unbuckle herself, because there was a guy in 1964 who unbuckled himself, stood up, hit his head, and died. And he doesn't haunt it, so I feel like she has some unfinished business to do. And until Disney admits that it was their fault, and the clip didn't go in correctly, or it didn't buckle correctly, she's going to keep haunting. But that's just speculation. Disney, don't sue us. And last but not least is the super iconic, super notorious, super heartbreaking Debbie Stone, who died on America Sings in Disneyland. I don't know about you guys, but America Sings is the last attraction I would expect to kill someone.
Yeah. Is that kind of the Hall of Presidents equivalent?
So it used to be the Carousel of Progress in Disneyland, and then it got turned into America Sings. And now it's, I want to say, Star Wars Launch Bay?
Gotcha.
And I think at one point it was Innovations, when they had Innovations at Disneyland. When it was America Sings, I don't know how it moves now, but when it was America Sings, it moved exactly like Carousel of Progress. Even though the sets are like full rooms, somehow at the end when they go backstage, the walls get smaller. Like they press together. On July 18th, 1974, 9 days after it opened, 18-year-old Debbie Stone was crushed by a wall in America Sings. Everyone in the audience heard her scream and notified the cast member, but they had to wait for the walls to reset. So they had to wait 4 minutes to get to her, and by the time they got to her, she was dead. They shut down the ride immediately and have since made, like, changes and set in lights and things like that. I don't want to get super into it because I want to do an episode on this. I think there's enough here to do a whole episode on Debbie Stone. But they closed the ride for 3 days. When they opened it back up, almost immediately, and then up until it closed in 1988, people could hear a voice telling them to be careful if they got too close to the walls.
Ooh.
Which is just so heartbreaking, because she sounds like all the stories you read is like, she was a great girl, she was always happy, like, if she is a ghost and she's just like sticking around to make sure people stayed safe, or she stuck around for, 15 years to make sure that everyone stayed safe.
Like, that is a valid concern on even the Carousel of Progress today. Like, they have to make sure that no one stands up, because you feel like you're in, and like you said, we can do a whole episode on this because I think there's a lot to be said, but you feel safe to get up and walk to the back because you feel like you're in a theater, but you kind of forget that you're not in a theater.
Remind me, does the stage rotate or does the audience rotate?
The audience rotates. The stage stays and the audience like rotates around. It's like a carousel.
Yeah, I mean, there's stories. Patrick Spikes, before he had to take down Backdoor Disney, did an interview with a cast member. I think it was Chief. It was someone who was a pretty iconic cast member who almost had his arm ripped off on Carousel of Progress or America Sings.
Yeah.
One of them had his arm caught between a wall and pulled, and he basically just pulled as hard as he could against his arm because he knew the alternative was that it would get ripped off.
That is just tragic.
That wraps up the not fun portion. I really went out on a downer. I could have gone out on any of the other ones that were speculation and been great. I went out on such a downer. Katie.
Yeah.
If you were to tragically and horrifically die at a Disney park, what attraction would you haunt?
Oh, man. I think I'd have to haunt Tower of Terror, because I think that'd be so fun. Denise Moody could never. Like, can you imagine how much fun that would be?
Dude. Just, like
you could freak some people out. I would, like, you know, in the end, when they bring you back to that little room, and, like, there's always something a little bit different in the room, depending on, like, which side you go in and whatever. But sometimes there's, like, that doll. I would be chilling with them, and we would have such a great time freaking people out. Oh, now I want to.
Now I want to die and haunt the Tower of Terror.
Well, because you know what I do? This is, like, kind of horrible. I won't say especially if there's, like, a first-time rider or if someone seems particularly scared. I kind of just do it whenever I want to. But it helps if people are especially scared on the ride. One of my first times on it, someone was like, just feel the temperature change and you'll know when you're about to drop. And so I was like, cool. But then I was like, I want to take that even further. So as soon as the lights go out and you're like moving forward and you're just waiting to drop, I always scream. But then you're just sitting there. Like I'll just be like and then everyone's like, ah! And I'm like, and then it's like, so then they're caught off guard when you actually do drop. Sorry, yeah.
So what would change
I already
with you
kind
being
of
a ghost? Or do you just get so much joy from that you'd want to do it for the rest of your life?
Probably. I would do that kind of thing. Like, I think it's so fun to freak people out even further on that ride. So if I were a ghost there, I would take it even further because I could. Like, I could do even more.
I know where I would haunt. It's not where I would want to haunt, but I know where I would haunt.
Where?
Anyone who's here from TikTok, I would haunt Splash Mountain because I am convinced that I'm going to die in the Splash Mountain filtration system. If you don't like deep water or anything like that, don't look at the picture I'm about to show. It's going in 3, 2, 1. This is the Splash Mountain filtration system. Okay, it's gone now.
It doesn't freak me out as much as it freaks you out, but it still is scary.
It scares the shit out of me.
It's still pretty scary.
So I have recurring nightmares about dying in the Splash Mountain filtration system, so I fully believe that I would have to haunt Splash Mountain. Which sucks because I hate Splash Mountain. But I'll love it once they redo it. So yeah, those are the ghosts of Disney parks.
Cool.
If you have any more that you know about or that you think are cool, any like urban legends in general, drop them in the comments. Tell us about it. I think these are so cool. I know there's like a legend about someone who hung themselves in It's a Small World.
Yikes. Stay tuned for next week. Thank you all for watching. You all are great and amazing and perfect and wonderful and never been done before.
Yeah, you can follow our Instagram at Costco_bagels. You can follow us privately at Rob.Hickson and at Caitlin Jade Hall. And you can find us on Twitter at Costco.bagels. You can find me on TikTok at Absurd Disney with 1D. You can find Katie on TikTok at Katie with how many Y's?
I think it's like 5.
5 Y's, 1J? Sounds about right. Let us know what you guys want to see. And stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Bye.